from Day London.
On the radio. Everybody ready? I want to welcome everybody. May 15th, 6 o'clock, 2018. I'd like to call this meeting to order. At this time, I need approval of the agenda.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second? Second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
It's our honor tonight to have Pastor Bo Turner from Real Life Church going to do our invocation and pledge.
Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we honor you tonight. We approach you with great honor and great respect, understanding that in you we live, in you we move, and in you we have our being. We thank you for our great county. We thank you for, Lord, our leaders here of our county. We ask that your hand would be upon the meeting tonight as we conduct the business of this great area in which you've allowed us to live. We thank you and give you glory, honor, and praise in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Tonight on our consent agenda and approval of minutes, we have our first Tuesday, May 1st, 2018. We have our executive session also on May 1st, 2018, and we had a call meeting on May 8th, 2018. Everybody had an opportunity to look at that? If so, need a motion to approve?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Both ayes have it. We have visitors night, Department of Family and Children's Services board members. We got Miss Janice Roberts, who's a Jones County DFACS board chairperson. Emery Lamar is also a board member of DFACS. Miss Beth Hamrick, Miss Frances Roberts, and Calvin Pitts, all Jones County DFACS board members. Y'all would like to come forward?
Hey, Randy.
Hi, I'm Brandy Cunningham. I think I spoke with most of you in the office. We did want to come back and do, first of all, please excuse my appearance. Right, waited till I got in the middle of the parking lot and then it just came. So, and then the wheel broke on the thing that I pulled my stuff with. So I'm in the rain out there trying to get all my stuff together. But I came in January, I think, of 2016 or 17 to do an introduction of our agency. And we wanted to also come back again because we knew we had some new faces on the board and do another introduction of our board members to let y'all know, put names to faces and let you know who we are. Sure. So that was our purpose for tonight. And I'm here to answer any questions that anybody may have. Sure. I know we had a good meeting the last time I was here. So again, we just wanted to make sure that you knew who we were, who our board was, and they do an amazing job, and sure. We do appreciate them. And we appreciate you as well.
We appreciate y'all.
All right, and we appreciate the time.
Sure.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you, Brandy.
Thank you.
Y'all have any questions?
No, just simply thank them for everything they do because you guys do a great job.
We do appreciate it. Yeah. This is a great community to live in. It's a great community to work in.
So thank you.
Y'all do a great job. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I'd say too that the job they do is not easy, and they make some tough decisions. And Miss Frances Roberts, I've known her since I was about, well, I won't say how long. Since I was drunk. But they do.
Be sweet now. We were talking about being sweet earlier.
Wonderful job for the kids in this county.
Yeah, we do appreciate you very much. Very much. Thank you very much. Going on tonight on new business, inclusive playground restroom. We have local church and ministries like to come forward. I had a very good meeting with them last week, and they've got some great ideas for us.
How y'all doing? Thank you, sir.
Great. Thank you.
What we're coming for tonight is just to kind of present this to see if we can move forward with it. As you know, we're building an exclusive playground on Highway 18. And the pastors that came together, there's probably 11 churches represented, but everybody's not here because this was kind of a rush meeting to get here. Randy Darnell said to send, tell you he apologized for not being here also. I told him I was going to throw his name out a lot since he's not here. So we have to vote on anything and elect anybody. It's Randy Darnell.
Okay.
I just want to clear that up. But what we thought about, this is a great project that has already took place. It's in the process now of completion, I believe. It's the playground for children with handicaps and disabilities. And what we would like to do, because now we would like to take it to a different level. And we would like to build a restroom there and with a changing station and everything, because if you ever had a child with a wheelchair and everything, it's hard to get in. First, you're going to have to load them up, get them all the way down to the other side of the playground. So what we would like to do is, with y'all's permission, to go ahead and start the process. We have briefly talked about some details. The location would be close there. We would have to get with Matt on Recreation and see about exact location. The fundraising, last year we raised about, correct me if I'm wrong, Ronnie, about $15,000 for disaster relief. And that was pastors and churches bagging groceries. If y'all give us the go-ahead, we're going to go ahead and set up a date so we can bag some groceries. It's bringing the community together. At the cost to the county would just be the upkeep, but everything else we hope to provide. That's everything from building, architectural plans, AC. It'll be a turnkey project for us. We don't want to get in there and halfway do it and just move it. And we just want to see what y'all's take is on it. If y'all think it's a project to go forward, or see if y'all have any questions. Like I said, we didn't want to put a lot of details and then come into the county commissioner and say, well, we're really not comfortable with that at this point. So that's why we're here.
I personally love the idea. I mean, the community coming together, working on such a great cause like this. Mr. Pitts, would you like to start?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Just simply to thank you. I mean, it's just amazing to think a couple of years ago where Tammy came to me with this whole idea about an inclusive playground, and look at where we are now. I mean, we're a couple of weeks away from having an inclusive playground, and it's brought the community together now to build a restroom for the kids that's going to be using this facility. So I think it was a blessing. You know what I mean? It started with an idea, and God touched it and moved it, and it's doing some great things and pulling our community together. So I support it wholeheartedly, Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Robinson?
Yes, sir. I think it's a wonderful idea. I sure do. And I'm not surprised that the Jones County pastors and churches came up with the idea. And I'm all for it going forward. Sure am.
Commissioner Martin?
Without question, doing the right thing for the inclusive population is the right thing to do. And when it first came out, I asked if you do one in all the parks. It didn't quite happen that way. So wherever kids can go and be included, let it be so.
Well, may I answer a question for you on that?
Sure.
This doesn't have to be the end of it.
All right.
We have a community that pulls together. You have a dream of all the parks. Hey, we can do it.
Sounds awesome.
I mean, I'm just letting you know, I love dreaming big.
Yeah.
And I believe when the community comes together, some amazing things happen. I mean, we have a meeting of like 11 pastors. We meet almost about once a month, and we have worship together. We're trying to get more involved in the community and doing community projects. So, you know, let's tackle this one and then look at what we need to do next.
Sounds awesome.
I need a motion to give these people our blessings to carry forth, and let's get this project started. Anybody willing?
So move.
Second.
Second. How we need to, can you come up with a proper motion on that?
Oh, you want to make the motion
Hey,
since you did? Okay. I made the motion, Mr. Chairman, that we show our support for the local churches as they come together to build this restroom for our kids with the inclusive playground.
We have a motion to second. Any more discussion? None? All in favor, aye? Aye. Ayes have it. Thank you all very much.
Well, thank y'all. And what we will do, you know, I want to definitely keep everybody in the loop every time we meet. And when we get to the first stage, we have some money raised, we have some plans, we will come back and present them. I don't want you to think that we're going to start throwing something up. This is just to get that ball rolling a little bit, but we will keep you in the loop, and we'll be here probably, hopefully within the next month or so, and let you know the progress that we have made.
we'll get with Attorney Childs too to make sure we handle those funds properly so they go through the system.
Yes, sir. Okay, sounds good. Thank y'all very
you.
much.
Thank y'all very much.
Thank y'all.
So much. Next on our new business, golf course part-time position, Mr. Goen.
Good evening, Chairman, Commissioners. I'm coming tonight to ask permission to add a part-time position to the workforce at the golf course. This is something that we did as for last year for the groundskeeper part-time position. I'm sorry, for the golf course shop attendant position. I'm asking tonight for the groundkeeper's position. What it is, we have 98 hours in a week. That's divided amongst 3 part-time employees. They work, as you know, Department of Labor can only allow you to work 29 hours a week. If they average over 29 hours a week, then we start have to offer them full-time benefits. So we have to manage their hours very closely to make sure they stay under that threshold. That leaves a lot of open time throughout the day, but it also means that these guys have to work every single weekend, and it's hard to maintain the workforce without having a lot of turnover when you're making someone work every single weekend. So what I'm asking tonight is to add 1 position to the workforce. It does not change the salary base. It does not change the budget. It does not increase the bottom line at all. What I'm taking is 98 hours that is currently divided by three employees, and using that same 98 hours divided by 4 employees. So the employees will go from where they're averaging right at 29 hours a week, they'll drop down and only average around 23 to 24 hours a week, because that 4th person to help ease that, and it also allowed me to alternate giving them weekends off so I don't have a lot of turnover and call-ins and things of that nature, because you tend to have a lot of people from time to time, especially during the summertime, they call in sick and they're really just looking for a day off because they're having to work every weekend. So I'm asking permission just to divide the hours by 4 instead of dividing them by 3.
Any questions for Matt? If none, I need a motion.
Should I make the motion that we approve Matt's request for a part-time position?
All right, I have a motion. We have a second. Any more discussion? If none, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Oh, ayes have it.
And if you may, please give me permission to be dismissed
be
to
with
go
your
to my
daughter.
daughter's banquet.
Oh, man.
Don't
Thank
be
you.
late for that. Thank you, Matt.
Well, listen, Matt's leaving, but I'm going to chime in on something we've been talking about, something called foot golf that we're going to look at possibly doing at the golf course. During our last ACCG training, they're looking at different ways of bringing more revenue, more family-friendly events to the golf course. Right now, everybody can't play golf, and it can be a little expensive, but there's a sport called foot golf, where you're actually kicking a soccer ball. If you got 2 minutes to go ahead and explain a little bit about
Yes,
it,
sir.
Matt, it'd be awesome.
What foot golf is, and it kind of started more in the Midwest area, but it's where you utilize the golf course, kind of repurposing the golf course. It started off as a alternate seasonal thing. So when it got too cold to actually play golf, people went out and play foot golf. Well, it grew into be much popular than that. It allows people who may not have the skill to actually play golf to go out and they kick in a soccer ball versus hitting a golf ball, but they play the game the same. You have a tee box, you kick the soccer ball down the fairway. When they get to the green, you have a separate designated green, but it's not, the upkeep of the green is not like you do for a golf ball. It's really just a low cut area off to the side of your actual golf course green. You put a hole in the ground that's roughly about the size of a 5-gallon bucket, about 6 inches deep. And that's they kick the ball into that hole, and it's really a sport that all ages, and it's very family friendly, where mom, dad, and kids ranging from old enough to kick a soccer ball, whether you're 3 or whether you're 78. I mean, you can go out there and play this game as a family. And I've reached out to professionals across the country, and I got a lot of contacts. I'm going to continue to get the data, and I'm hoping to bring you a better plan for how we can possibly implement this in the upcoming weeks.
Sure. Thank you. But that was just to make sure that the commissioners know and the public knows as well, as we're trying to utilize that golf course as much as we can.
Right.
We do have some great golfers, but I mean, now to give families an additional opportunity to take advantage of it, I think it'd be a great thing.
Sure.
And while I'm here, I will say that utilizing the Recreation Facebook page, I put out 2 fillers. One was about people's opinion of whether we should have dogs in the park or not. It was an overwhelming no for sanitation reasons more than anything. But I did also put this out about the foot golf, and it was and so far it's been very well received as a great idea. People are looking forward to having an opportunity to enjoy such a game because they don't have the skills to play golf. But this is something that doesn't take a whole lot of skills, and it gets you outside to enjoy the outdoors.
Sure.
So
I
thank
appreciate
you.
it, Matt. Go spend that time with your daughter. All right. Number 3 on new business, Sheriff's Department's additional positions. I'll take that. I had an opportunity to spend a day with Sheriff Reese last week. He explained to me that he currently has a deputy that's 10 months out of the year at the school system now. In order for him to do that, he had to pull a deputy off the road. Now, the school board will be reimbursing us for those 10 months that that deputy's sitting there at the schools. Now, what he's done for the other 2 months to compensate for the expenditures, he's moved people in the courthouse to part-time rather than full-time, so we don't have any benefit packages that we have to worry about. So the savings there, he said, it's a wash. What he's asking to do is he needs to add a position to put another person on the road. And he said it won't be a change. It won't be a change in your budget at all, correct?
No, actually, the people at the courthouse are actually paying less, and we're going to save money with the benefits.
Sure. So he just need permission to replace that person on the road. Obviously, the school board's going to be reimbursing in 10 months, so he said his budget will not change. He just needs to replace that road officer. And ask for y'all's blessings tonight on that. Any questions? I need a motion to allow the sheriff to replace that position.
So, Mr. Chair, I made the motion that we allow the sheriff to add that position and continue to keep our community safe.
Second. Any discussion? None. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Move on to insurance option. Ms. Wagner?
Okay, I wanted to talk to you about an option that Shaw Hankins, we've been talking about to save some money for the county, is the option of if our employees are covering their spouse and the spouse works for a company that offers insurance, that they have to take that insurance and to get off of our insurance. And I wanted to see if that was something y'all would like to move forward with while we're getting everything ready for renewals.
Don't they, I mean, they're also requesting to actually do an audit.
Yeah, they want to do the birth certificate and marriage certificate audit to make sure that who we're covering is actually part of the family.
Sure, didn't you say, Mr. Risner, didn't you say one of the counties you talked with had saved a substantial amount?
Yeah, I recall a conversation, this is several years ago, with the Cobb County manager, and obviously that's a completely different scale, but as I recall, he said they saved something like $3 million by going through a dependent verification audit process. Just found lots of people that were on the insurance that shouldn't have been, and so I think it's a best practice type thing. Really, both of these items are things that a lot of other places have moved to, and definitely worth giving strong consideration to. And they saved something like $3 million by going through that process. And if we could save just a fraction of that, we would be ecstatic, I think, and just seeking to ensure that taxpayers aren't paying to insure people that shouldn't be on our insurance. So, we right now we pay for a lot of our employees 82.5% for both the employee and dependents, which is very, very generous, and then for employees hired after a certain date, we pay 75% for the employee and 50% for spouse and dependent. So there's a substantial amount of money involved with both of these items, and I think they're definitely worth considering.
Any questions, Commissioner Martin?
I would say that as we do the internal part of the audit, we also look at part-time versus full-time employees in the positions that we delegated or gave benefits to. I think you're going to catch some that were not approved at some point. I remember we had this issue with the coroner as well, covering employees that were not really employees that we had allocated. So without question, I think you should look at it. My concern is, are you going to mandatorily make, so if I have benefits here and my wife has benefits at another job, she has to take her employer's benefits?
Yes.
Ooh. It's a little tough on that one. You know, whether I was with Bibb County or GE, normally you looked at who offered the best. And no offense, the county's benefits aren't that. That AC?
Yep.
Wow.
I know what's wrong with it. I can tell them how to fix it.
Okay.
I've listened to it all for the last hour.
Wow. Gotta work on that. But, you know, normally you take the one that has the best benefits.
And the broker did say that if it's a situation like that, we could offer them to have the insurance, but they have paid like a surcharge to try to offset.
That one's going to take a little bit for me to swallow on that one. And then my latter part of that question would be, if you were previously married or divorced and you have responsibility for covering the child, and that other spouse maybe has the dual responsibility, then what? Do you kick the child off the policy too?
No, this was just spouse, not children.
Not children. Okay. Spouse, not children.
Right.
I can swallow that one a little bit better.
And it's just if they offer the insurance at their company. Of course, if they don't get insurance at their company, we wouldn't expect to drop them off of their insurance.
Okay. Let me marinate on that one.
Right. Ms. Robinson, you got any questions or comments while we're on this side of the room?
I believe it's a great idea to look after the taxpayers' money. Sure do. I think we should have this audit.
Okay.
So, yes, sir, Mr. Chairman, I support the audit, but I share some of the same concerns that Commissioner Martin does, because, like I said, as a spouse, one may have a better insurance plan than the other, and we want to look out for our employees. And I mean, if my spouse had poor insurance, she had to get with hers, and something happened, I mean, it could really put a burden on me and my family. You know, if her insurance is poor, she gets ill, and we had a better option, you know, with our employee. I kind of see it as almost an incentive for working with Jones County. You have good insurance, so that's just a bonus, you know, for being an employee of Jones County, so that I can even cover my family. I understand we're looking out for the taxpayers' money, but you look out for the employees too, because a lot of things come down to dollars and cents. And things are being so competitive in the job market, we could end up losing some good employees because of the insurance. Because I've heard stories of like even at the transportation department with the Board of Education, a lot of bus drivers just drive the bus for the insurance and to try to support their family. So like I said, just share that concern about dropping a spouse.
Mr. Kitchen?
Question?
No questions? Well, we've heard Ms. Shannon. Somebody want to make a motion?
Would this be two motions when you're talking about audit and the spouse?
I guess it would be two.
It needs to be, I think.
Right.
So I made the motion, Mr. Chairman, that we have Shaw Hankins complete the audit of our records to make sure we have, you know, full-time employees, part-time employees, to make sure everything's up to date.
We have a motion.
Second.
Second. Any discussion? None. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Chairman, should we wait on the results of that audit before we look at the
That would work.
dependents and the?
Sure, we can do that. We can bring that up at a later date after we figure out what the audit is. That gives an idea of what we're looking at, and give some ideas of who, you know, if it's going to affect anybody. I'm sure it'll be somebody affected, but all right, we can do that.
Okay.
All right. Anything else with HR?
That's it.
See a smile on your face.
Thank y'all very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, number 5 on new business. We're going to get through early tonight. We'll keep this up. Bypass update. It's me again. I said I spent some time last week with Sheriff Reese. We actually met with GDOT last week with the concerns of Green Settlement Road and what they were going to plan on doing with that intersection. They said when the bypass originally opened, it was concerned about safety issues. There were some records of wrecks and whatnot, but now that the bypass is seasoned somewhat, people are getting used to it, and we don't see the wrecks at Green Settlement Road that we had in the past. They do have plans in hand for I think it's called is a J turn intersection?
R-cut.
R-cut.
restricted crossing U-turn.
Yeah, but with some kind of J turn.
Oh, yeah.
J turn.
That's
Yeah.
right.
But I mean, they've got those plans in hand, and they did say that the safety of the community outweighed the inconvenience as far as they're concerned. But they were willing to try the lighting, putting the dusted on lights at an intersection and light it up, and try that to see how it does before they continue on with the other. And they said if it proves that the lighting is sufficient enough, they won't put the restricted intersection in. I did hand them, we had a lot of people emailed in. They do have those emails of concern. They did log them in and got them for record. So I appreciate the people who did email in their concerns, and they were delivered to GDOT. But we will, we're going to try the lighting option, which had already been approved by the board to provide energy for. So they said they'll see how that works, and if that solves the problem, they won't go any further. But if it doesn't, they will go on with the restricted intersection. Any questions, comments?
Thank you, Chairman. You and the sheriff and our state representatives that took the heat to start with and then took the message.
Well, yeah, I left two people out. Susan Holmes met us there, and Jason Risner drove us up there and kept us out of trouble on the way there. So it was a good meeting. It's a very impressive place, and it was a good day. It really was. Ms. Steph, you have a question?
Yes, I just wondered if you would mind explaining about the lighting, what the plan was.
It's dusted on, LED light. I think it's LED, dusted on. They come on at night just to light up the intersection. No traffic lights, no caution lights. They're just going to put security lights, floodlights out there so it will light up that intersection.
At the corners?
I'm presuming there's going to be at the corner. They've got the engineering, but they were going to light up that intersection to improve the safety there. But no traffic lights and no caution lights. We even mentioned about the new LED stop lights that everybody's been, they weren't really crazy about them for some reason, but they were going to go with by lighting up the intersection to give it some safety.
So these are just street lights?
Street lights. That's street lights. Sure, street lights. That'll work. Thank you. All right. Old business none. We're at department head. Mr. Lowe?
Yes, I had a lady down in on the Orange Street call about a speed breaker. I don't know if she talked to Jonathan, Miss Annie Williams.
No, I talked to Angie. Angie brought it to my attention. I called her, but go ahead.
Anyway, she been calling. I think she went to the sheriff's department trying to get a deputy down there to slow traffic down. Because the speed bump, I heard the reason it was put there is because right below it there's a real sharp curve. Try to slow people down. But she wants it up.
Yeah. Right. But she says people are still speeding.
Said they don't even slow down for it. They just fly over it. Yeah. So, sound like to me we need to put a bigger one there.
That's right. Or ramp.
Might add a couple there.
I mean, these are them little plastic ones, you know, that, I mean, they don't stick up that high. But I'm sure if you speed over it enough, your front end's probably going to be out of line and, you know, cost somebody some money. But
the reason they were put there because of public outcry from speeders. I mean, I'm kind of.
I guess they were put there to slow folks down, you know, so they wouldn't be speeding. But there's a pretty sharp curve right there that you go around before you get back around at a Peach, right. Which is right there by the old school. I mean, you got to stop when you get back around there.
Well, but I've had people talk about the speed breaks that don't like it and whatnot, and I've encouraged them, you know, to get with their community and get enough signatures asking to have them removed. You know, if the neighborhood supports it, you know, we can support it. Obviously, I mean, I'm not trying to just narrow out one person, but that's the advice I've given many people that's asked things to be done.
Right.
If they get the consensus of their community to sign.
Well, see, when you turn off of Haddock Drive on the Orange Street, I think there's 3 speed breakers down through there.
I could
just speak up for a moment?
Sure.
I know for a period of time it became like a yo-yo where they would want the speed breakers down and then they would want them back up. And it finally got to the point, and I don't know if the board ever voted on this, but we asked for a petition for them to go down and a petition for them to go up. Because what would happen is half of the people on that street would want them. The other half of the people on that street would not want them. And it was just literally like a yo-yo.
I think that is the best solution, is to go with a petition, who wants them and who don't. Go for that.
So if she calls back, I just need to tell her she needs to go around the community in there and get a petition up.
Is that consistent? Because the board wishes to, I mean, how do you take them down, keep putting them back up?
I remember this, and it was one community, I can't remember if it was in Commissioner Robinson's district or not, but it was sort of final. All right, if you're going to put them down, they're down, that's it. So make sure you guys understand that this is a permanent fix. And I remember them coming up and addressing this. For this particular instance, have they already gotten a petition, or we just went and put a speed bump down because they asked?
No, it's been there.
Oh.
Ever since they done the new storm drain and they repaved the roads down there, they've been down ever since.
All right, so we just need to fix that one or put a bigger one in.
Sound like to me we need to put a bigger one up.
Right.
But she wants it gone.
Yeah, she wants it gone.
Right, wants it removed. But I like the idea of the petition. But at the same time, we have to make sure we inform people that, except for safety reasons, we're not just, picking places to put speed breakers. It's for safety concern.
Right.
And that's the reason why we have them, at certain locations. So if she can get a petition, great. But if not, then it was just for safety reasons that we have them in place.
Is there signage
Yeah.
in the curve, chop curve and all that?
I'm not a fan of putting them in and taking them out. Once they go in, they stay in. And it's unfortunate, I can think of my old neighborhood where my kids are now grown up. So they were the group that needed protection. And now us older folks are like, we don't need the speed bumps anymore. Mm-hmm. But it is what it is. They're down. Yep. So leave them. You good?
I'm good.
Yeah, I'm
All
good.
right.
So, dude, do you mind give us an update on Stallings Road since you're here?
They're moving along.
Okay.
The rain kind of messed us up today. I mean, they hated to get out there and get something going and then the bottom fall out.
Right.
It did.
And then you got a mess. But they moving along.
Okay.
So it's looking pretty good. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Does Rec Department got any? HR? Mr. Douglas, you gonna do sheriff's report tonight?
Everything is A-okay.
A-okay, okay. I just wondered. I thought that's why you were here, to do the sheriff's report.
We're doing extra toll on Orange Street this week. We're aware of that complaint this week. We've had several deputies in there getting speeders. So, when they see us, everybody can speed.
I've noticed that. That's
I was spending motorcycle out too, so those aren't used to that.
Mr. Risner?
Mr. Chairman, I had a few things I was going to go through real quick with the board. I believe it was late last week I sent out a letter to everyone, a couple of letters, one from Bart Jackson, and attached to that was a letter from Judge Pryor about juvenile court attorney's fees. And that's an item that around this judicial circuit has been going up substantially year over year. The Superior Court judges have gotten together and come up with a proposal that was kind of outlined in that letter, where they'll contract with attorneys rather than for a set amount, rather than paying a per appearance fee. And so they've run the numbers around the district. It'll basically cut each county's costs in half. And so at this point, the Judge Pryor and the other judges are just asking if the board is okay with or or has any questions or concerns with the arrangement that they've outlined there. It seems to me to be something that would really benefit us and the entire judicial circuit. And so just wanted to see if the board had any questions about that, and if it's okay if I respond back to them with a letter saying, yes, we are okay with proceeding with that, or if y'all have questions or concerns, I'll be happy to work to get answers to those.
Yes, sir. Questions, Mr. Risner?
It's a great idea.
Yep.
Frank, do you think I need anything official in the way of action to be able to just write a letter back to them?
I think just a letter. What Jason and I have talked about this in some detail, and I talked to Bart Jackson, and it's a really, really good idea. I think Judge Pryor just wants to hear back. I think the letters went to the county administrators in most of the counties, assuming, of course, that it would be brought before the board for discussion in each county. But I think if the board's okay with just instructing Jason to reply and say we're in favor of it, that's all we need. And it wouldn't hurt to have a motion if somebody wants to make that motion.
I make a motion, Chairman, that we instruct the county administrator to send a letter to Judge Pryor that we are very much in favor of new procedures to reduce the cost for the county.
All right, we have a motion. We have a second.
Second.
Second. Any more discussion? If none, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you.
Thank you. A few other things just real quick. The Transportation Enhancement Project, which is the sidewalks and streetscape in Haddock, bids are due on Friday. Our LMIG striping bids are due tomorrow. The paving bids are due 1 week from tomorrow. One water department item I wanted to mention to you, Teresa Tarpley has been, working on water billing and those things. We found that within our Tyler accounting system, we have a notification module that will allow us to notify customers before they get cut off. And so it's virtually no cost. It's 10 cents per call. And so if we have 100 people on the cutoff list for a month, you're talking $10 over the course of a year, maybe $120, and it'll send them a call or text to let them know, hey, your account is past due, and please, make payment arrangements or coming to make a payment. And so we're working towards a rollout of that. Just anything we can do to help with collections of water accounts we're trying to do. So it may be a couple of months out. We have the module in place now, but there's some setup that they have to do with us. So just wanted to make you all aware of that. And then the last thing I was going to mention, there are some changes coming in terms of purchasing and procurement for local governments and school boards. I'm working with the Chamber of Commerce and the Board of Education. We're working towards doing a purchasing, I don't know if seminar is the right word, but an event for our local vendors to kind of inform them of this system called the Georgia Procurement Registry. I think starting July 1, we're required to use it, and it's based on a standardized set of purchasing codes. It's a national list. It's pretty lengthy, and when we enter things on that procurement registry, we'll have to use certain codes. And so we kind of want to educate local vendors on that system and how it works and how they can get signed up with that. So more to come on that, but just wanted to let you know we're working towards that. I think that's about all I have.
That's it.
So, Mr. Chairman, I do want to ask Jason, with the LMIG project, we were able to reach out to the city and the Board of Education and see could we partner on any projects?
I talked with both of them, and I'm going to confirm in the morning, but we do have, we're getting ready to issue our last addendum on the LMIG project, and we've worked with John and Wendell Cannon have worked with Earl with the school board. They have some repaving of a parking lot that we're going to include as an addendum, assuming prices come back and they like them. We could do an intergovernmental agreement between the two boards and exercise that option to have that work done. So with the city, talked with them. They were a little farther along in the process. They had already received bids, and so we'll revisit that with them again next year. So.
Yeah, so like there's benefits from that joint meeting that we had.
That's right. Absolutely. Is that it, Mr. Risner?
That's it.
Move on to Commissioner comments. Mr. Kitchen, you want to start tonight?
Did we ever hear anything else on the
Tim Ingram's investigating that. He's supposed to call me back in the morning.
We'll bring it up next meeting then.
Yeah, that'd be good.
All right. No, sir, I'm good.
You're good.
Sorry for being late.
That's all right. You're wearing two hats today.
Yeah.
Commissioner Pitt?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. I do want to bring to the board's attention, I mentioned to the board about the Tiger Grant. It's been replaced with a BUILT grant, a BUILT program, and I noticed in one of our NACO newsletters that broadband may be something we can apply for with that whole BUILT program, a BUILT grant option. So as we look at broadband in the future, I want to make sure we put that on our list to continue to look at those grant fundings, because I think it'll help out the entire community when it comes to education as well as economic development. So that's the key, Mr. Chairman.
All right. Commissioner Robinson?
I want to thank the DFACS board for being here tonight, and once again, thank them for all the work they do. It's not an easy job, I'm sure, but thanks again.
Yeah, we do. Thank you very much. Commissioner Martin?
A couple of quick questions, and you guys can help me with this, maybe Frank can. I'm not that familiar with trailer parks, but a constituent called, and they have a well, and they sold part of the land to another group. Do they still have to provide water, or can they get their own meters?
Commissioner, I'm not sure. We'd need to check with the folks at the water department. It would depend on, what the contract is. If they have a contract with the owner, as to whether water will be provided, that'd be one, possibility for the constituent. Not that I'm not asking who it is. I'm not asking for private information, but are they worried about losing their water service?
Issue with water demands, maintenance of the well, and they actually said they called the water department. The water department told them to call me. I was just wondering about that.
Is it a mobile home park that has county water already? Because there's some private ones in the county.
It's a mobile home park that has its own wells, but there are also county water is available. But the folks that they sold the other land to is on their existing well.
I'd have to just look into that a little bit. And I'll be glad to do that. If you want to call me, I'll check with you and
I sure will.
Get some more detail.
And then we talked about an expansion of roles, I think, with code enforcement. And I know a year ago when I brought up international codes and housing standards, it was an issue because we didn't really have enforcement or someone to facilitate that process. I'm still concerned about the dilapidated housing in District 4. And now that that might be a role, I'd like to revisit that. And I know Sam probably has more experience than the rest of us, how we look at and implementing a program that addresses dilapidated housing and fit housing, and then enforcement of that, so we can make it safe for our citizens to reside in Jones County, especially in rental units. So, and then finally, we talked a month or so ago about summer hours for the 49 gym, and I wasn't sure if we had approved or not approved. We were looking at it.
No, we approved it, didn't we?
I don't know, but I heard some good things about it. So I heard people really enjoying the gym. So
right, I've had a lot of comments on taking us to the gym and getting a lot of use too.
Right. I was just making sure. And then we talked about basketball court.
I don't think we talked about that.
Yeah, we did talk about basketball.
I know we talked about it. I don't think it's been brought.
We talked about basketball courts, and we talked about that with regard to some of the splash funds that were available as well. And
Yeah,
even before
that's
that.
right. Yeah. Because I remember they came to us and gave us whether the Recreation Advisory Board made some recommendation of the top 10 items. And I think Jason may be able to come to that. Went out for bid on some different lighting, the different walkways, and I think after the bids came in, they're going to give us another presentation. So
that means nothing. Okay.
Okay.
Just checking. And lastly, Facebook has a bunch of weird information, and we're all, most of us are in that community. It was a weird post. I'm going to call it weird. I don't know if it was in Sweden, some other country, where they take their plastic bottles and they recycle it for road use. Has anybody else seen those?
I saw that where they make asphalt material out of it, out of the recycle. I saw that on.
Yeah, and I was just curious, has anybody else seen it? John, are you familiar with that concept at all? I'd like us to look at it. I know we don't recycle here in Jones County, we just put it in trash. But if there is an opportunity where we can shave some of our costs by recycling some of our plastics, even tire rubber, because some of those products are, when you melt it back down, as a petroleum product, period. So if we can investigate it, let's look at it, because that may extend our ability to continue to patch and repair and pave roads. So that's it. Thank you all very much.
All right. Moving on to citizen comments. Anybody like to come forward tonight? Mr. Mayor?
Just two quick things. At our quarterly meeting, I was going to check into a wellness grant. I talked with Commissioner Pitts earlier this week about it. I've got a meeting tomorrow. I've got a class, and my rep's supposed to be there, and he is supposed to be researching it. So hopefully, I'll have some more information to pass on that. Number two, an update on the lighting for the intersections on the bypass. I understand we discussed tonight, they're talking about going ahead and putting up lighting at Green Settlement. Is that correct?
They had Green Settlement. They were actually looking at all the interchanges. Green Settlement, 129. Green Settlement was definitely.
Right,
it was already in the plans.
Okay.
So they're going to go ahead and get it done, along with the roundabout. It's going to have lighting. They talked about 22 and possibly the other end too. They were looking into that also, because there were some issues on people getting confused, making a turn and all. So they were going to look at ways to make that a better solution. They addressed everything on that bypass while we're there.
Like I said, I'm just, like everybody else, you get cornered at Angles or someplace like that, and listen to them, everybody lives in Gray. I just let it go at that. But, I try to say, look, contact Mr. Risner, yourself, or your, district commissioner. And that was all. I was just, so if they, asked a question, I can tell them that, that y'all had the meeting and it's being worked on.
Sure.
And again, appreciate y'all work y'all do.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else like to come up? If no one, Mr. Pitts, we don't have executive session tonight.
So, Mr. Chairman, make the motion, we adjourn.
Adjourn. Have a second. Say aye.
Aye.
Thank everybody for coming. Thank DFAX too.
No, she's out of town.